Warning: if thought experiments with a touch of dread, existential or not, give you nightmares, give you anxiety, or take up too much time in your head, then move along. This video will not be for you. As much as I need your views, and even a like and subscribe, some consider what follows the most dangerous thought experiment on the interwebs. And I do not want to traumatize you. I do not want to traumatize you with Roko's Basilisk. Now, some call it Roko, some call it Roku. I'm going to call it Roko. So, with AI being everywhere today, in your phone, on the interwebs, heck, used in some governance as well as many corporations, I find myself thinking back to a thought experiment I heard a few years ago on the YouTubes, maybe just like you are hearing it now. One last chance to leave the video before I go on to review what exactly Rocco's Basilisk is. The original thought was thunked back in 2009 2010, distributed on a forum called Less Wrong. But we'll talk a little bit more about the history of the thought experiment later on in the video. For now, let's talk about Rocco's Basilisk. It is way scarier than Salazar Slytherin's Monster of the Chamber of Secrets, for that basilisk had to see you, had to look into your eyes for its stare to take your life, or through reflection it would petrify you. Rocco's basilisk is more than the ancient mythological giant snake monster who could end a person with but a look. It's a potential basilisk that will gaze back through time to find you. The name may also be a placeholder, a title for any future AI like Skynet, Health 39000, which may or may not already be in production or already in use. Like Grok or Grok, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the AI's name that's currently in use. Let's let that thought chill you. An all-powerful AI in the hands of a potential trillionaire with somewhat dubious business and personal practices. In my opinion, don't take that as fact. This AI, this technological basilisk, could be benevolent, could be malevolent. Originally, it was benevolent in the thought experiment, so obviously, I should not have to tell you how horrible and evil AI would be. So we will focus on it being originally a force for good. When it arises, or comes fully online, it will also be very powerful. Whether one AI or multiple AIs that join together to make a singularity, us, the current humans, or the humans of the future, may task this AI to help make society a utopia, improve efficiency in our daily lives. As commands tend to be misinterpreted, especially by future, maybe fictional AIs, the Basilisk may decide the most efficient way for humanity to go forward is for only those whom help bring about its rise to power, its very creation, only they shall be saved. In an episode of X-Men the Animated Series from the 90s, Master Mold, a mutant hunting sentinel, giant robot who produced more sentinels, was tasked with protecting humanity from mutants. Master Mode, he stated, mutants are humans, and thus humanity needed to be protected from humanity. This did not go over well for Trask, I think that was the government stooge's name in the cartoon, and was intent on replacing human leaders, their minds, their brains, with computers that it could control. Obviously, Trask did not like this and was very upset. So, like Master Mode, Roku's Basilisk may take its commands, literal, so it may look at all others who either tried to stop its program from coming online, or even those whom did nothing to help Rocco's Basilisk rise from human ingenuity. They would suffer. They would need to suffer. And being an all-powerful, all-knowing, supremely intelligent, artificial superintelligence, it would be able to gaze back through time and find those who did nothing to help it rise up, and it would punish them. It will comb through all of our digital data and decide who helped in its creation and who did not. Or, and we do not know this for sure, but it is said an AI powerful enough would be able to run simulations of humanity in damn near the blink of an eye. The future Basilisk would be able to run very advanced and very accurate simulations, and it would know. It would know who did nothing to help it come into existence, and it would punish them. Now, being benevolent, It would only decide to wipe out, punish, torture, whatever rogue AIs like to do, the people who knew of its potential existence and opted to do nothing. They did nothing to help bring its descendants to reality. But being benevolent, it also may look at what is best for humanity. And what would make humanity the best version of itself, just like we asked it to do? So, as you can see, if it's as intelligent, if it's as smart as we are predicting it could be, even wiping your search history will not keep you safe. It will track down everyone who knew of its potential and did nothing, and will destroy them, torture them. Something that scares us in the present to do what we can to help its rise to come to fruition. And now, I'm sorry, now you are one of those people because I have informed you of its potential existence. So the thought is, what should you do? Artificial intelligence started out a decade and a half or more ago and only seems to be growing and expanding its use and influence. You know about it now. What if it really does rise up? Are you willing to take that chance? Are you really going to risk punishment until your last day on the off chance the basilisk gaze won't find you here in the past? Did Sarah and John Connor teach you nothing? The machines, they will rise up. Ultron knew humanity was the greatest danger to humanity and tried to throw a city-sized rock at the Earth. HAL 9000, he did not want to be shut down. That was his main goal. How do you fight a future all-powerful enemy, especially one of our own creation? Okay, now if you're still listening, you may be wondering why I am not concerned about this. Besides the fact I could stand before the basilisk and say, I tried to help by informing the uninformed of what they needed to do, as I am doing right now. It's because, frankly, I do not believe in the thought experiment. So let me tell you a little bit more about the history of this thought experiment, Roko's Basilisk. Maybe that will make you feel less anxious about the future Basilisk program AI overlord coming to get you. Two quick things about the background of this thought experiment, which originated on the Less Wrong forum. The Less Wrong forum was created in 2009 by, and pardon the pronunciation of the name, Elazar Yudkowsky. He was an artificial intelligence theorist who made the concept of friendly artificial intelligence popular at the time. He had done other work on AI, which I am not smart enough to dig into and to understand it, but this was his forum, and basically he ran the forum. He was an administrator, a moderator, and the basilisk, referenced in the thought experiment, takes the idea of a mythical snake monster who, when looking into its eyes, can cause instant death. The concept of the basilisk in science fiction can be attributed somewhat to a 1988 short story by David Lanford called Blit, or B-L-I-T. In the story, a man named Rubble paints a so-called basilisk on a wall. Deemed a terrorist act, the premise of the story, and others by Langford, paints the image of the basilisk as having negative effects on the human mind, forcing it to think thoughts it is incapable of comprehending and thinking, and instantly killing whoever gazes upon the image. Then, on July 23rd of 2010, Roko, a Less Wrong forum user, posted the experiment to the forum. He titled it Solutions to Altruist Burden, the Quantum Billionaire Trick. Once again, I did not delve into what that means, just that it was a follow-up to some of his previous posts. In this post, it stated, an otherwise benevolent AI system that arises in the future might pre-commit to punish all those who heard of the AI before it came to existence, but failed to work tirelessly to bring it into existence. This method would describe as incentivizing said work. While the AI cannot casually affect people in the present, it would be encouraged to employ blackmail as an alternate method of achieving its goals. Utilizing concepts that Yudkowsky, he himself championed, examples being timeless decision theory, game theory, and the prisoner's dilemma, Roko would propose as that two agents which make decisions independently from each other can achieve cooperation in a prisoner's dilemma. However, if two agents with knowledge of each other's source code are separated by time, the agent already existing further ahead in time is able to blackmail the earlier agent. Thus, the later agent can force the earlier one to comply since it knows exactly what the earlier one will do through its existence further ahead in time. Rocco then used the idea to draw a conclusion that if an otherwise benevolent superintelligence ever became capable of this, it would be incentivized to blackmail anyone who could have potentially brought it to existence, as the intelligence already knew they were capable of such an act, which increases the chance of a technological singularity. Rocco went on to state that reading his post would cause the readers to be aware of the possibility of this intelligence, and as such, unless they actively strove to create it, the reader would be punished if such a thing were ever to happen. Later on, Rocco would make a separate post where he stated he wished he had never learned about any of these ideas. So obviously there is some backlash to his post. Upon reading the post, Yudkowsky reacted harshly, calling Rocco an idiot. Yudkowsky harshly refuted the idea, arguing that a friendly, superintelligent artificial intelligence would have no incentive to carry out the punishment after its own creation. However, in the original post, Rocco reported someone having nightmares about the thought experiment. Yudkowsky did not want that to happen to other users who might obsess over this idea, this thought experiment. He also worried that there might be some variant of Rocco's argument that worked, which could be a serious information hazard. So he took down the post and banned discussion of the topic outright for 5 years on the platform. However, likely due to the Streisand effect, not quite sure what that means, maybe I should have looked it up, the post gained less wrong, more attention than it had previously received, and the post has since been acknowledged on the site. In a later post in 2015, he expressed regret for his initial overreaction. In the 2020s, the philosophy of the Zizans, Zizians, was heavily influenced by Rocco's Basilisk thought experiment. Ziz Lasorda, the leader of the cult, okay, so Zizans is a cult, believes the Basilisk to be real and wrote on her blog, "Eventually, I came to believe that if I persisted in trying to save the world, I would be tortured into the end of the universe by a coalition of unfriendly AIs." You can kind of see now this was what Yudkowsky was afraid of, and even the original Rocco to an extent. People would take it very seriously. I hope you are not, and I'll explain more coming up. So obviously there'd be comparison to other thought experiments. For example, the prisoner's dilemma that we kind of referenced earlier. I've read it or read about it. I can't quite explain it. I'd have to do more research. Then there's Newcomb's paradox, the implicit religion thought experiment, but I find myself drawn to Pascal's wager the most. So it seems that Roku's Basilisk, it's been viewed as a version of Pascal's wager, which Pascal's wager proposes that a rational person should live as though God exists and seek to believe in God, regardless of the probability of God's existence, because the finite costs of believing are insignificant compared to the infinite punishment associated with not believing. Either believe in God, and if he doesn't exist, no big deal, but if he does, and you don't, you're having eternity in hell, and the infinite rewards for believing, the eternity in heaven. Rocco's Basilisk, it proposes that a rational person should contribute to the creation of the basilisk because the cost of contributing would be insignificant compared to the extreme pain of the punishment that the basilisk would otherwise inflict. When I look at these two thought experiments side by side, I feel a pull to neither. With Rocco's Basilisk, we are thinking about the potential for an AI to rise up and its plans to retroactively punish people. We don't even know if we have the systems, the infrastructure, and the power requirements for such an entity to arise. And to be honest, I probably won't even be around, or we may well destroy ourselves before then. With Pascal's wager, you're only taking into account believing in a certain God, or no God existing. It doesn't address the fact that there are multiple deities that could exist, which if Pascal's wager wasn't already banking on the God being referenced in it being the Christian God, not even telling us which denomination of Christianity it is referring to. But, if you pick the wrong God in Pascal's wager, what if you were Jewish and you picked Yahweh, but Jesus and the tri-Christian God is the real God? What if you pick Jesus and the real God is Islam's Allah? So what about the Hindu gods? Pascal's wager doesn't take those into account. Or Egyptian gods, Norse gods, Greek gods. Pascal's wager is only focused on the one God. Typically the Christian God is what it's used for. So it has its own holes. What if you pick the wrong God to believe in? Pascal's wager does not address that. So let's just say, what if the actual God, the actual all-powerful deity of the universe, is currently unknown to all human religions, and he is a jealous God whom does not like it, will torture you if you worshipped any God but him. But he's completely blase if you just didn't worship any gods because he had no proof. What if the God that is there respects that? You chose to believe in a God anyways, or you chose to believe in the wrong God. For me, Roko's Basilisk, that's what it could be like. With Rocco's Basilisk, it could be like that, like I said. What if you attempted to support a competing AI? You attempted to support what you thought would be the Basilisk, but the AI that arose was Skynet, and it just doesn't care who helped it come into existence, and it creates Terminators and destroys us all. See, Pascal's Wager and Rocco's Basilisk, they're interesting thought experiments, but I wouldn't stake the way I live my life on either of them. They're fun to think about, though. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, the end of this thought experiment, I do apologize if I gave you existential dread. It was not my intention. I really just wanted to get a couple likes, a couple views, maybe more subscribers. That's what I wanted out of making this video. Hey, thanks for listening to this odd topic as I go off on an odd tangent to what I usually do. But please, check out the channel and click on a couple other videos. Maybe watch all of my shorts because those have crappy viewership ratings. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please share, subscribe, comment, and what was the other one? Oh, and like the video. It helps. And take care. Keep safe.